safe space is a place where Black men learn, heal, thrive, and value the freedom to be. A safe space allows Black men to color outside the lines without judgment, stigmas, biases, or boundaries. A safe space is a place where our Black voices impacts and counts. And here are your hosts, Ty Baker Jr. and Dax Addy.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we back. Episode 3.
Yeah.
We making it, brother.
We're trying. One step in front of the other. One step at a time.
Most definitely.
That's it.
Before we start, I just want to tell everyone thank you for tuning in the last 2 episodes. I greatly appreciate it. They were heavy hitters, but I feel like they touched a lot of people. I've already been getting some text and everything from everyone talking about it, so thank you guys for tuning into that. Today, it's a great topic.
It's gonna be a strong one.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna get a little serious now. We're gonna have to put on, our serious hats.
Just a little bit. We got 2 great guests here today.
Okay.
We got Luis Negron Jr., Executive Director, COO of 100 Black Men of Atlanta. Thank you for being here with us.
It is my pleasure. Thank you.
Awesome. We love it. We got Greg Williams here, my brother, my friend, and creator of Waterboyz here in Atlanta.
Yeah, Waterboyz In the Hood, yeah.
I love it.
Appreciate you, too. Appreciate you.
Most definitely. Il and I go back, man. I've known Il since 2015 when we worked together, so it's a blessing to have everyone here today. We're going to go right into it.
I think we should, man. Ain't no other way.
We're talking about being a Black man in America today.
I wore black. This is hard. I wore black, that's probably the toughest thing today if you're walking as an African American.
Yeah. It's been a hard topic for me to wrap my brain around, honestly, because being a Black man is a scary thing in the community right now, and it's also one of the most rewarding things at the same time. In the Black culture, we are celebrating our own men and our young men, but I feel like outside of that, there's a lot of turmoil.
I agree with you 1,000%. It's one of those things that, I hear a lot of people say you can have empathy towarars, right? But to walk in the shoes, it's a whole different experience.
Right.
So the understanding, like I understand, I empathize with you, but to actually say I can relate.
Right.
This happened to me.
Yeah.
Like most people, 1,000 stories, and then you just add on one.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I wanted to have this conversation as well because I have 5 boys, and my thought always go to, my oldest is driving, he's working, and it's like I always fear what happens if he gets stopped over by a police officer. What happens if he goes to the wrong store? Not even the wrong store. Let me take that back. What happens if he goes to a store and someone looks at him the wrong way and thinks something, Yeah. So that is my fear, and I'm like, we got to have a conversation about this because I don't want my boys to walk around in fear thinking that they can't go into a certain place, they can't drive and be afraid of getting pulled over, because that's what's happening right now.
And it's happening at such a consistent rate.
Yeah.
It seems like for everything that happens, it falls into a pattern or a cycle.
Correct.
There's an issue, there's an uproar, right? There's some type of public, so to speak, change, but then things almost kind of return right back to what it was.
Yeah.
It's almost like, I like to call it the rubber band.
Right.
Nothing really changes.
Yeah.
So.
And before we even continue, I don't want to hit on it too long because this is going to be one of our episodes that we speak on, but we'd love to give our condolences to Tyree Nichols and his family.
Yes.
I know we were just talking about this before we started. I really haven't even been able to wrap my mind around the whole entire situation because you and I talked about it a couple weeks ago. I feel like you said, it's the same cycle. Black man gets killed, we go and protest, and then a little bit of change happens, and then it keeps happening again. And I'm like, for me, I'm tired of turning on the TV and turning on the news, and it's like another killing is happening.
Yeah.
And it's like, we got to make a change. We have to figure out something to where this cycle stops. Yes. It can't just keep being the same cycle that goes over and over and over again. And everyone's like, oh, it's okay. we'll protest, we'll make it happen. And I love the protest, and I love that our people are going behind it. But I think our people needs something more than that, because we're tired of seeing our black men getting killed.
1,000%.
You know,
1,000%. I agree.
So sending nothing but love and prayers out to the family, and we're going to hit on that next week's episode a lot more. But Luis, I would love to jump into 100 Black Men of Atlanta. Can you kind of give me the history of it, the rundown of what you guys are doing and what you guys are stand for?
Yes, our organization here in Atlanta was started in 1986 by Mr. Goldstein. This gentleman was a businessman. He had traveled to New York with several friends there. Actually, the 100 Black Men started in New York, actually, right after the Civil Rights Movement, where Mayor Dinkins back then was younger and everything, and they came together and said, well, we need to do something in our community. Kind of sound like the times we're in today. Yeah. And they formed the 100 Black Men of New York, and that was the first chapter. Then Chicago came, and then L.A., Oakland, and us, and here in 1986. So the founding were entrepreneurs, and also at that time the mayors. You had Mayor Jackson, you had, of course, civil rights leaders that were here, and they all came together and said, what can we do to be different in Atlanta? And their focus was on the west side. At that time was Perry Homes. For those of you that may know or grew up here, Perry Homes is on the west side. Archer High School was the high school in which they focused on. Right. So for them, they went in there and adopted the third grade class. Wow. And they told those young people in the third grade class that if you graduate from high school, we'll pay for college. Wow. So that's what they did. And that's how we got started. For 10 years, these men self-raised their own funds, got their own money as entrepreneurs, and invested in that community. They showed up every day. They went and mentored those young people. They shared in the family and the community. And then after that, we became a 501c3 and a corporation to really invest and raise funds to work on the west side. So we're still committed to west side. As we know, Archer High School is no longer there. Yeah. We've adopted Best Academy, the all-male school in the city of Atlanta. So we serve the middle school through high school. And then Coretta Scott King, the all-girls school. They share the same campus there. And we just recently adopted Frederick Douglass Middle School. So our motto is to help and increase the social economic power and stability of the African Americans and minorities here in the city of Atlanta. That is our mission. We also believe that for the young people we mentor, if they see us, they see us, they want to be like us. So we're there. For us, it's not a matter of, we have over 200 members of Who's Who in Atlanta. But the biggest thing is that we are in the community, and we work silently sometimes. A lot of people say, well, what you guys really do? And I think a relevant topic is what I got from a couple of funders was that, is the name 100 Black Men still relevant in the 21st century? And I said, yes, it is. Have you looked at the news? Yeah. And, due to what we're talking about today, we're still relevant. And it's important that we show up and we're here and present.
100%. I love that. I think that's great.
Man, he summed up the whole chapter real quick. I had questions. I was like, no, he got it checked. No, he got that check. I will say this. I want to ask you this, right? Yes. You mentioned one key word in there, mentorship.
Yes.
All right. How much of y'all's business is kind of centered around, that focal point? Can you speak on that?
Our mentorship is a continuum for Black men and Black women. Most people don't know we serve both sexes. So we get them young. We get young people as young as elementary, middle school, all the way through life. And when I say through life is that we've had members who were part of our high school program, the pods and Project Success, and have graduated, then went to college, and we have collegiate chapters. So we're at Morehouse, Spelman, Oglethorpe, Georgia State. Those are our chapters for the 100 of Atlanta. And we mentor those young people. We ensure that they have soft skills, and then they get connected to corporate sponsorships for jobs. And then afterwards, if they want to join the Young Professional Group, which is the E100, you probably seen those brothers, the Emerging 100. Those are, again, our fellow auxiliary that we work with, those young men. And we still work with them. And even, we have 5 generations in the 100. So we have brothers that are in their like 80s and close to 90s, and they still mentor us as members. You have to be 35 years old to be a member of the 100. So that's the age in which you come in. But the continuum is there. It's 5 generations of mentorship that is going on.
So you really never left alone?
No.
Man.
No. You always have, wisdom in your ear.
That's powerful. That like just
I wish you
think
could
about-
drop the mic,
Yeah.
but you can't.
No, that's so powerful because we talked about on our very first episode and last episode with Trey. And what was the question you asked Trey?
Which one? I asked him a whole bunch.
You asked him, were you ever alone? And he said no, but not in the sense that you're talking about right now.
Correct.
For a black man to have a supportive group like that forever, man, that's a powerful thing. You know, when you slip or fall, you know, you could turn to someone, hey, like, I need support, I need help. And I think that's the missing key that our younger generation needs right now.
I'll take it a step further. It's a safety net. It's a safety net that most of us, how can I say, have never had or grew up with.
Right.
And for those of us that are fortunate to be part of the 100, it's a safety net in which you have men that can hold you up and be with you and carry you through those darker times.
Yeah.
So is that the real? Okay, now here comes the real questions. You know, so you hear this thing with gang members creating families. Is this what a family of men really actually is?
I'll take it further. It's a tribe of men. You want to take it back? Asa Hilliard was one of our most esteemed members. And if you know Asa Hilliard, he was one of the most renowned Egyptologists, also black educator here in Georgia State, to his passing. And when he came, and I mean, we were already together as a group, as a family. But I would say we're a tribe.
Yeah.
And for us, is everyone wants to know, well, what do you guys really do? We're investing in the community. And we do. We put our money, we put our dollars, we put our ideas, we put our power, we put our forethought into the west side of Atlanta and Metro Atlanta, because it's actually open to all students in Atlanta and families.
And that translates into care. That's what
Care.
real care is.
It is.
And when you said that, it like there's this feeling that came out of me, because you get kids who jump into gangs or jump into other things, and they haven't thoroughly defined what like family actually is. And essentially, you're saying, if I could change the words, this is what a group of men, right, with family and care are supposed to give you in order for you to be the best you.
It is. I say the 100 black men are the protectors and saviors of the black family in Atlanta.
Yeah.
When it comes down to it. I mean, and that's a hard burden. It is. And then not everyone's going to want it.
Right.
And I have to be honest with you, because we go to some young people and they look at us, you know, we come in with suit and ties, or we come in dressed a certain way, and they're like, you ain't making no money. You know, you went to school.
Right.
You know, I'm not going to waste 4 years of college when I can go and do whatever and make more money than what you make in a week.
Right.
And that's real. We got to respect that.
Right.
But at the same time, for those that are able to garner and come in and work with us and see that there's a progression in life, that there is something different, that's what makes a difference. And I'll give an example. Elliot Torre, who was one of our former board members, grew up in Perry Homes. This young man, he said when the 100 black men first showed up at Archer High School to mentor, he said he had never seen a black man dressed sharp like that. He had never seen him riding a Mercedes like that. And he wanted to know. He said, well, what's the difference between you and the D-boys? Straight, perfect answer question. And when he saw that, I don't want to go to jail or be dead, I'll choose this. That brother now works at Equifax.
Wow.
That brother is very successful. And he said it was that type of determination and change that he saw that really made a difference for him.
Yeah.
Is that he saw a different pathway. And I think for all of us that are in this room, we were either exposed or shown a different pathway than what we could have chose differently.
And I think it's conversations like this and programs like that you guys have is what helps the young man take different paths. Because like you said, if you're not surrounded by that type of stuff, you could choose a path to the left or go to the right. So I love what you guys are doing, and I think it's very powerful. And it segues to what you're doing, Il, with Waterboyz In the Hood. Give us a little rundown real quick on what you guys are doing and how you guys started the program.
Well, Waterboyz In the Hood, it was originally created off of a brand and documentary. You know, I'm a filmmaker. We work together. You know, I said that, so you know what I do. But like during the pandemic, everybody was in a mental space, and especially as black men, I think a lot of us went through something mentally, like and how they were promoting it on the news, and black men were kind of like trophies at the same time. And let's uplift them,
Right.
but at the same time, it seems like media and just they was drilling. This is how we doing y'all out here.
Yeah.
And so it was like a mental space I know that I was in, like, damn, like, what's about to happen? Like, it's about to go down.
Yeah.
Pandemic, they rioting, they keep killing. You know, on top of all of this, it was just crazy, right? So I wasn't working at the time, and I was just passing by, and I always see on the news, Waterboyz, and I always would look out for them. One day, specifically, you know, I saw that a water boy had got killed, and I'm like, yo, these youngins is just getting wild out there. And I was driving by the same group of young boys on Northside Drive, and you know, I'm passing out money, and I always like for them to share. I'm like, y'all grabbing money, y'all not splitting y'all money, y'all don't have any type of. That's why people call them aggressive, because it's like, you get a $10, it's like, what about me?
Yeah.
Because he not gonna split it with me, and I'm like, y'all on the same corner, but y'all not sharing money. It is a recipe for disaster.
Right.
Y'all gonna get into it. They jumped in my car, and it was some grown ones out there, and they just got two in my car, and I was like, I had to pull over and get out the car, like, y'all can't be doing this. And as I'm talking to them, I stayed out there for a minute, and I just saw them interacting as kids. You know, like we would ride past them, the Waterboyz, this, that, but I saw the kid. They just kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, at the end of the day.
They kids.
Yeah.
They black kids.
Right.
That's my little cousin. That's my little brother. I know, you know, a cousin or a brother, a family member that act just like the Waterboyz.
Yep.
And identify with them. So they didn't know what I did. I went and grabbed my camera. I came back and started filming them. I ain't instantly start filming. You know, they looking at me like, bro, what did you? What you doing, big bro? Like, hell nah. But then they started doing some funny shit, keep being kids. And one of them like, hey, cut the camera on. We got to film this. They was betting like who would put their head in the water. You know, this thing that they doing to pass the time. So I filmed it. It was funny. And I dropped a clip just like on my Instagram. Like, and then everybody was hitting, hey, you need to document this. You need to. So I knew I needed an incentive, like when I was just to come through and film them. So I would come through, hey, y'all clean up. I'll go buy y'all water, and I just to try to help them just tidy up.
Right.
And I was just looking at the footage, and I'm watching the people interact with them at the time of the pandemic, like people riding by giving out 20s and 100s, and it's like, it wasn't about the water. It was like, you a young black man in America trying to do something else. I'm a support. Mm-hmm. And it was a lot of that, and I just had the idea, and I'm telling them, do y'all know what y'all are? It's not about necessarily the water. It's because of what you are. Like, you could brand yourself. This has Nestle on it. This has Fiji on it. None of them people, like, you know. So I just thought of an idea. I just thought of the brand, like just thought of an idea like a light bulb, something to put in the bottom corner of the dot, or just shit while I was filming. And I came back. I got 25 T-shirts, and then I just was giving it out. Mm-hmm. I gave them out, and then they called me like 5 minutes later, like, big bro, we just sold all the shirts. We need more. So I just thought of that as a perfect opportunity to just like try, because I didn't know how to make merch, but at the time everybody was making merch, starting their own brand. So I found that as a perfect opportunity to see who was willing to learn something else. Mm-hmm. So I just told them, like, look, if y'all make the merch, y'all can keep the money. Yeah. And I'll just document that process. So even the people that's following on the Instagram, they seeing like, nah, these boys like, they going to, you know, make their own merch. Now you learn about wholesale manufacturing. It's just in my head, and because I wasn't necessarily like, I'm gonna be a mentor. It just organically happened. Yeah. And I'm like, I needed somebody to really look out, like I'm about to look out for y'all. And it just spawned into like, it's a lot, but it's like, you know.
I feel like you saved some of their lives out there being a mentor like that.
Yeah, definitely. My main guy, Kai. I'm so proud of him. Like, that's my little brother. And I just established this relationship with him, like watching him and his mind. Like, because at first they was like, you know, standoffish or just like, it's just about the money. And I'm just telling y'all know, in the same sense, this is for all of y'all to work together, because y'all would make more money working together. But then it was still the sense of like, it's like cutting the grass. You could see, he's just really on some rotten shit. He just ain't, you know, but that's the thing. It'll be like a good kid. Like Kai's a good kid. He just got to go home to the projects where everybody in his house, they ain't, you know, no examples. Nobody really mentor him, but he yearns for that. Like, I got to get around this, from around this shit. So the first thing I was telling him, bro, you got to separate yourself, because if you standing next to him and he's on the bullshit, the people passing by look at us all the same.
Yep.
So that was a lesson in that. And at first he ain't get it, he out there with his friends, but as time went by, he just started seeing. I think that came from the people like seeing him, like, nah, I like him, like because he's gonna do the right thing. And then in that he it was like the 10th grade, he dropped out in the 10th grade. Like through the transition, just through him learning and people supporting him, he graduated from Doug. I filmed that like last May. He graduated from Doug, and like I got a clip of him. I'm like, man, what are you proud of yourself? He like, yeah. Like, what made you want to do it? He said, I did it for my mama. Wow. Even if she didn't want me to do it, I just did it for my mama.
Wow, man, you're building young leaders.
Man,
real talk,
and it's organic. I didn't, I'm learning as I go, but yeah.
I got a question for both of you guys. What is the point of connect? And you can go, and then you can go to answer this question, right?
You took the words out of my mouth.
Because we all have this thing that happens, there's this word mentorship that happens, right? But there's this point of connect to where you almost look at this kid and you're like, I see something in him, or I see something in all of them, or I don't see anything in them, but I'm just here. I'm going to be here. And it's something usually just clicks. Yeah. So the question is, what was that thing for you, to kind of amount for you? What was the fruit that got you here? What did you see between seeing these kids kind of going through some of these things and say, you know what, I got to be a part of this?
For me, it was my experience growing up in Oakland. I grew up in Oakland at a time where it was known as crackland.
Oh, yeah.
So crack devastated my community, and there were men who believed in me. Plus, the D-boys looked out for me. So, as you can see, I'm 6'4", 300 pounds.
Yeah.
So I'm not a little guy, but I was a great athlete. So, it's kind of funny when I think about it now. They were like, yo, we're going to pay you money. You're going to make these many tackles, or, you score these many points, or, But they were like, we don't want you to follow this, because they saw something greater in myself than I did at that time. So that, and I have to say thank you to all of them, because they looked out for me for that. Right. But the men who I connected with in my community were men who were examples that did well. And for me, when I came to Morehouse and I came to Atlanta and I do the work that I do today, I have to feel the spirit of what this young person is feeling. So me, I have to feel the energy. What's the energy? You talk about Kai, you probably felt his energy when you were with him. That was the difference you felt between him and the other one that was on that bullshit. You felt his good energy. Yeah. So, the man I am involved in today, I really have a sense of energy and spirit. I look at that, and then I look at the heart. And then I just ask the question, simple question, how's your heart and how's your soul today? To every person I meet, every kid I meet. And you'll be surprised, that'll tell me an answer I need to hear.
Ain't it interesting how you build the threshold based on that for all their mistakes they're going to make? It's almost like a God thing that happens, right? Yeah. You're like, I know you're going to get on my nerves. You're going to be late. You're going to say some crazy stuff, and I'm going to put myself in the line for you. You know what I'm saying? But it's like this connection that happens. So that's the same, and as he's saying it, did you kind of feel some of the same things?
Yeah, same. Like it was like somebody looked out for me. And then when what you was talking about is that we got to give grace, because we want it when we fuck up. Yeah. I know, I want some grace. Like, damn, I'm only human. So we gotta give that too. But it was definitely somebody looking out for me, and me knowing, growing up in an environment where like this shit fucked up. Like, it ain't supposed to be like this. But getting that like with me, I'm like, man, if I just had a shot, or if I had an opportunity and a lot, it ain't just gonna fall to the sky. That's how I learned how to hustle. And then once I learned how to hustle, I'm just like, okay, how can I direct this to, well, I got to get up off this couch. I got to get up out of here. Well, let me just hustle. That's how I connect with Kai, because I see that same, like, well, if I don't want to go back home, if it's fucked up back in the neighborhood, I'm just going to hustle out. I'm going to hustle my way out of this shit. Like I got to just, and then doing that got me, around to Atlanta. Why am I around here? I go out there where there's opportunities and make it make sense, and then everything just start happening for me, and people looking out for me is why I just gotta, because I feel like I'm still growing, but I know what I did with my opportunities. Yeah. So even if it's one that's out there fucking up, like I'ma still give you the opportunity, because it might click, and then off of that opportunity you might do some, like you might go real big and just be like, man, this how this happened, man. This guy, like, he looked out and it clicked for me. because they got minds. Them young boys out there, man, the way that they think,
It's crazy.
it's like, wow. Do you know if you got it right? You know who you could be. You know who you are.
Didn't it irk you when you see things like that? You be like, look, you a great mind, and I'll whoop your little ass. I swear I fight you, man. If I see you one day, I'm gonna beat your ass. That's what's gonna happen today, right? I know we've all had that. Be like, you too smart to be doing dumb. Dumb right now, right? So there's this place of a spiritual connection, and it's like a father figure in this word. That's why I asked about this word, mentorship. I think, is that the thing? And you can probably tell me about that.
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like that's the connecting thing that we have. You know, we were asking at the beginning of the show, what is the ultimate goal to help young black men overcome all the society stuff that we have going on? And I feel like having a strong mentor, it was what will help them. You know, you took a chance not knowing what was going to happen, and look how big this has turned out. You know, I see people all around representing Waterboyz in the Hood. They got the movie, they got the logos, they got the water bottles, and it's just a complete movement that has inspired them to just do something completely different. And I as you were talking right there, I'm thinking like, what would have gone differently if you wouldn't have stepped in that day? You know, what would have happened? You know, because you were saying earlier, people just walk around and drive by and look at them as fuck ups. They're not fuck ups by any means. You know, these are young men out there grinding, trying to make a difference in their lives, because you said they got to go back to the homes that is already fucked up. You know, but because you took a chance, not even knowing what was going to happen, you know, and I think that's what, you know, me having a strong mentorship helped me along the way as well. So having mentorships, I feel like, can help a lot of our young men take it to the next level.
I want to ask this question again to both of you guys. Do you think mentorship is a necessary act? Especially in today's day and age.
I'll take it like this. If you go back to Africa, mentorship was always part of the tribal culture in which we had as a people. They would take the young men and mentor them to go out and go through the tribal initiation. You know, there was a rites of passage that we've always had. Of course, we know that was lost as the transatlantic. You know, we arrived here. But I think mentorship is it's crucial. You know, it doesn't have to be a person that's outside to be a mentor. I mean, you have an uncle, you know, fathers or whoever could be a mentor. But I do think that as men of color today, we do need some type of guidance, no matter how old we are. I still have mentors at the age in which I am, you know, because I'm still learning. It's a forever process. But you have mentors for different parts of your life. Your life is the best way to say it, you know, because who you were at 18 is not who you are today. So your mentor at 18 is going to be very different than the mentor you have today.
Yeah, I got fat now. I used to be in top shape, bro. Yeah, 18, you want to see me. I do this with my shirt off just to give y'all inspiration. No, but I get what you're saying. Do you think that's true as well?
Yeah, definitely. Because someone that has experienced the same, you know, somebody could just tell you, I'd have done that, bro. You don't have to go that way. And then a lot of the youngsters, I feel like they're looking for the right mentors. So let's say if they're growing up with just people showing them just different, where they gonna go for what they know. Well, this is what we doing it where I'm from, and this is how we doing it. They getting mentors, but the young people know right from wrong. They know. So when it's a mentor that's just sending them off, I don't feel like they respect them like that. You're not supposed to be. But they looking for the mentors. They looking for somebody to show them the right way.
And they hungry.
They hungry and they ready. Yeah. And then you can't bullshit them.
So that's what you're seeing, a lot of the hunger.
Yeah.
That's what you're seeing in these things.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting point right there.
Right.
Right? You're seeing a lot of the stuff you think is wild is hunger.
Yeah.
Is that am I saying that right? Wow.
And they want that right mentor. It was a clip where Meek Mill passed him up. No disrespect to Meek or none of that, but it was a clip where he was passing and he was giving out $20, and it was a lot of them like, he's like, what are y'all gonna do? What am I supporting? Right? And the Twitter, they gave him backlash, like, just give him why would you do that? Hey, you rolling up in a Rolls Royce, just giving him 20. I understood what he was saying. They didn't even have a script. What am I supporting? But I could do, like, they couldn't articulate themselves, right? So, and I would look on the internet and I would go just, because I'll holler at any random water boy just like to talk to him. So I was talking to him, I'm like, why y'all do Meek like that? Like, and this is the young boys, but this is how they talking. I'm like, why y'all do Meek like that? It was like, big bro, he could have kept his 20. We would have wanted if he hopped out the car and gave us some game.
That's deep.
I'm like, what? I'm like, wow.
Floyd Mayweather said the same thing. He said, "Don't pay me, show me how you did that."
Yeah.
And I mean, that's the point of connection right there. So essentially, you know, we talk about this all the time.
All the time.
Right. We're like, hey, it's cool for you to give me the $20, you know what I'm saying? But show me how you did what you did so I can have some kind of path. So with that said, and this is kind of bouncing this question again, the education aspect of it, right? Which is the education, which I love what y'all are doing, right? So you guys essentially give them, I guess, the information and then kind of show them what it could be.
What it could be. If they see it, they could be it. That's our motto. So for us is that we expose them to a variety of careers, a variety of men. Just, you know, whatever, you know, we take them to different places around the country. We had discussions, you know, and the discussions are, you know, not only academic, but they're life discussions.
Yeah.
And we have a listening and attentive ear. That's number one, because when people hear mentorship, they just think that's somebody just talking to you all the time.
Right.
No, them young people want somebody they can sit down and they can express themselves to.
You think a lot of them are walking with pain too?
Oh, man, pain, hurt, trauma, all that. I mean, we walk with that right here in this room.
Yeah.
Our traumatic experience.
Tyler, he owe me $5. I ain't letting him up all week. I'm gonna throw all him. I'm asking him all week in like 15 different ways. But hey, man, you know, I gotta pay for parking. Get out of here. You know, somebody you want to drive it for me?
But, you know, I think it's true what you guys have been saying is that they go back home to a certain environment, and they're only with us for a couple hours.
Right.
So that's the challenging
You gotta
part.
go back to the trenches.
You gotta go
I
back.
don't know what it's like at the crib. This is cool right now, but mama's smoking dope.
Oh wow.
and it's like in these certain places, like it's a community. And that goes to the topic, like, because everybody grows up different, but that being a black man in America, like, you know, like it's just that thing that we get that we can't. It's what we dealt with.
Well, we talked about it a couple of days ago. You know, being a black man, our back was already against the wall from the beginning,
Out the gate.
You know, we didn't really have a fighting chance out the gate. You know, we had to grind it from day one. And I don't think people really understand that sometimes. You know, it's not that, you know, we're using that as an excuse. That's just reality. Since day one, we had to fight. And we're still fighting in 2023 as a black man. And every day I'm like, it's going to get better. And it will in time, you know, but we are fighting every single day for our lives, for our sons' lives, for our daughters' lives. And that's a scary thought to continue to have to walk around every single day not knowing what's going to happen.
Definitely. Well, first of all, let me just say this. Walking around as a black man is like, there's a level of paranoia that can easily just kick in, you know. And then in addition to that, it's your life, right? You already have the hardship of life, okay? Then you got to worry about this second plate of things, right? That were issues that you may or may not have been involved in, but just because you looked the part,
Right.
you're already kind of guilty.
Yeah. Guilty by association.
By association. And that's the part that becomes hard. I have a quick question for y'all. Transition. Give me three words or three things that you think you've seen consistently, right? As today, when trauma and when these things hit black men, what are some of the characteristics you're seeing right off the bat? Three things.
Depression is number one. Self-hate is number two. And not loving oneself is number three.
Wow. So it just hits in one area. Is that about the same thing for you?
Yeah.
And not to cut you off, I want to come back to that. I know you got to get ready to go. Before you leave, though, give us some advice that you would want to give black men out there, you know, that feels, you know, like they're dealing with this every single day. That's not part of the program as well, or that might want to join the program. And we're going to come back right afterwards and jump right back into that question.
I would just tell brothers, look, the 100 black men in Atlanta, we're here for everyone. You know, no matter if you're a kid or not. I mean, we deal with grown men. So know that we're a safe space. Know that we have some brothers who are down to be able to just have conversations with you. We host coffee and conversation over at Black Coffee on Saturday mornings at 8:00. Come by and get some brew with us, and let's kick it and just talk. Yeah. Whatever's on your heart and mind, and let's heal one another.
You know, we're gonna have to go join that.
Well, I don't even drink coffee. I'll be out there like,
I don't drink coffee either. But
I ain't doing great, but I'm listening.
I think that's a powerful thing, man. You know, these programs are healing our community, yes, and I think it's a beautiful thing. So, Luis, thank you for coming on today, joining us.
My pleasure.
I wish we had more time with you, but I know
we'll get another episode.
Oh yeah, most definitely. We're gonna have more conversations like this. So, thank you guys for tuning in, and make sure you come back for next week's episode. Okay.
Thank you for tuning into this week's episode. Please be sure to like, share, and comment on all of our social media platforms.